Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're calling in from today. Welcome to today's webinar, where we'll be focusing on AI-powered knowledge management and its pivotal role in equipping the future workforce. My name is Emma Galdo, and I'm today's moderator. I'm also the Director of Product Marketing here at Bloomfire. If you aren't familiar with Bloomfire, we are a knowledge management solution, and we partner with the Fortune 500 and Global 2000 to unlock productivity for employees by sitting at the intersection of an organization's people, process, knowledge, and technology. Before I introduce our presenters today, I have just one bit of housekeeping to point out here in the webinar console. Just next to me, you should see a module for Q&A. We really encourage you to enter any questions you have throughout the session. We'll try to save some time at the end to answer as many of those as we can. But if we're not able to answer your question live, we'll follow up with an answer. And you can always reach out to us. We'll be sending follow-ups after the session as well. Now, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce our webinar presenters today. First, we have Sanjay Jain. He is the Chief Technology Officer here at Bloomfire, and he is an experienced founder, CEO, CTO, with a history of taking technology companies from inception to acquisition and beyond. Welcome, Sanjay. We also have Bobby Schreiber. He is Bloomfire's Director of Sales Engineering, and Bobby is a seasoned professional in B2B SaaS. He has 15 years of experience working with enterprise organizations to design technology solutions. Thank you both for joining today. I'm really thrilled to have the two of you here because, across both of you, there's a wealth of experience and perspective on how the B2B technology landscape has really evolved over the years, but also how the enterprise needs have evolved and where all of this is going. So that's where we'll start off today. Sanjay, I'd love to kick things off with you. Can you give us some insight into how you see the current state of knowledge management and how that's shaping your team's approach at Bloomfire into building tools for the workforce of the future?
Awesome. I sure can. Thanks, Emma. And everyone, it's very exciting to be here. At Bloomfire, we're very optimistic about the impact that AI will have, and frankly is already having, on knowledge management and really any type of knowledge-related work. Fundamentally, what we're seeing and experiencing is that this is a technology that is changing the way people think about creating knowledge, finding knowledge or searching for it, and even collaborating together at work. I think what's even more interesting is that what we're seeing in the market today is that organizations are valuing and to some degree even expecting that the capabilities of platforms like knowledge management systems, like enterprise search platforms with semantic capabilities and AI are unified into a single application that can do all of the best things that those platforms can do and so much more. And so from our perspective, this truly represents the product that we are building for the future. There's a lot of change that's happening right now, and it's because of these big changes that as a company, we're increasing our product focus in three key areas. Number one, we're increasing our levels of automation. In 2023, we saw that the primary use case for generative AI was really about asking questions, getting answers on your content, and also generating summaries of your content as well. In the near future, we'll start to see that these use cases are going to expand to see AI actually complete tasks and do work on behalf of knowledge workers. The second is we're increasing our level of integrations. So as we all know, the enterprise tech stack is very, very large, and knowledge can get siloed in many different applications across the enterprise tech stack. Organizations today want to use Bloomfire to search across their entire application stack throughout the enterprise. And then lastly is personalization. So people now expect that even the applications that they use at work can understand more about their role, their team, and even what language they want to use to consume information in. These are facets that are very important to them. So we're on a mission to build something truly exciting and unique in knowledge management that captures these three themes, which we believe are fundamentally critical for the future of work. So in any AI capability that we deliver, we follow four core principles at the company. Number one is security. our AI only runs on your enterprise data and nothing else. Security is also the #1 focus of our entire technology organization and is a part of our DNA as a company as well. The second is accuracy. Our products are designed to be highly accurate, and this is a continuous focus area for our entire data science team. Number 3 is efficiency. We're always focused on the value and ROI that is created by our AI products for our customers. And lastly, it's very simple. AI is by nature very complicated, and we've removed that complexity out of AI and given customers a simple experience so everyone can understand and experience the benefits of this technology. So for today's demo, we're going to focus on 2 key areas of the knowledge lifecycle where we've applied our generative AI capabilities. Number 1 is search. Search is really the ability to find the right information in a knowledge management system. It's the single most important functionality of a platform like Bloomfire. And it also tends to be the most utilized feature of a knowledge management platform as well. And for this reason, search discovery is a continuous focus area for our team. In fact, organizations that have already adopted our AI-powered search have shown that employee productivity has improved to a degree that equates to about increasing their workforce by about 10%. The efficiency and time savings are invaluable to the capabilities of their teams. Second is knowledge authoring or content creation. Creating high-quality, engaging content is incredibly important, but it's also very time-consuming to build content of this caliber, and it requires a lot of skill and expertise to get it right. Generative AI provides excellent assistive capabilities to help subject matter experts accelerate their ability to create that content. Our customers themselves have shown that having a high-quality knowledge base results in about 20% higher levels of employee engagement. And as a result, they report that their employees are more effective and can deliver a higher quality of work. So thanks to generative AI tools, these benefits are realized with minimal time and very minimal effort as well.
Thank you, Sanjay. It's really interesting to share some of these details about how you and your teams are thinking about technologies like generative AI and how to harness their potential in the world of KM. And I also love hearing the benefits that we've seen from organizations that have already adopted these, AI-powered KM tools. Really, those improvements to workforce efficiency and increased engagement are standing out to me as embodying the types of outcomes that organizations are looking for when they are trying to adopt AI initiatives and go through AI transformation. And to build on that a bit, something I've been thinking about, I think knowledge management is growing ever more critical in the modern tech stack because a KM platform creates a certified set of knowledge that can function as a really solid foundation and vehicle for AI in the enterprise to ensure, we can deliver on that accuracy and efficiency as much as possible. And again, that really creates the augmentation outcomes you're hoping to see from your employees. So thank you for some great table setting there. What I'd love to do now is pass it over to Bobby so we can actually see some of this in action in the Bloomfire platform. Bobby is going to be showcasing the Ask AI and Author Assist features in Bloomfire that showcase the search and discovery and authoring capabilities that Sanjay just introduced. Take it away, Bobby.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Emma. Let me go ahead and get my screen pulled up and we can dive right in here. What we've built, as Sanjay just explained, is a solution that's bringing forward really robust power and capabilities, but a very secure and approachable way. We want to ensure that our tech can be used by truly anyone that needs to use it, regardless of the use case or their level of technical prowess. So I want to try to bring to life everything that Sanjay just talked about, showing a variety of different ways that people can use both our Ask AI to generate answers to those questions they have, sourced directly from the content that has been uploaded to Bloomfire, as well as how content creators can use that Author Assist to generate these summaries, these takeaways, and much, much more. So we'll begin with Ask AI, and we can look at this first from a customer support use case. Now, when we're talking about customer support, time is money. And whether I'm speaking with a customer on the phone or I'm handling a ticket that came in, I need to get accurate answers as quickly as possible. So if someone is calling in and they're asking about an error message that they're seeing, I can simply come in here and pull up our Ask AI, and in this case, ask it a very simple question. What does error code 18 mean? That's what they're struggling with today. When we submit this through, our generative AI is going to look across all the content in this Bloomfire instance that I, as a user, have permission to access. So this is very controlled. We're not going to bring in any other outside information. This is not connecting to the internet to look for a source. It's really just focusing on that content that has been brought to Bloomfire. And again, even inside of that, only that which I have permission to access. But in this example, we had no problem being able to extract not only what that error code means, but also provide some feedback here as to what that user should do. And this is exactly the kind of information that our teams want when they engage in these kind of situations, is easy, actionable information that they can now readily relay back to that customer and make sure that we're closing the loop with them. Anytime that we're leveraging this, we're going to highlight the sources or the references that were used to create this response. So this is not a black box, but rather something I can very easily see into and understand how did we get here or what was being used to source that answer. Should I need to connect over and understand more about error codes or continue that conversation, I can open up that post and in this case see everything about error code 18 as well as all the other error codes that we're responsible for. And this is how we can really have more of that faith and trust into where this information is actually originating from. Now, the other piece that I can do as a user is provide feedback. And the important thing here is that as administrators, we want to understand, are we really assisting our agents and our individual users that are coming in and connecting with this? If we're having a positive or a negative experience, it's really helpful to understand that feedback and then be able to take action on that. So with every response that we get, I have the option to rate this in a positive with a thumbs up. That will give that positive feedback, just reinforce that, yes, this is working as designed. I'm getting the inputs or outputs that I want. And this is a really positive experience for me. But it's even more interesting if I actually disagree or downvote this, because then we're going to try to gather a little bit of additional information. What was it about this response that didn't really resonate with you as a user? So if the answer exists, but it just wasn't found, obviously we want to identify that. Perhaps the answer was incorrect, it's out of date, it just conflicts with what I'm seeing here. We can certainly make that selection, or if there's just something else they saw. In any of these scenarios, I have the opportunity to provide additional feedback. And when we submit that, that will convey over and be shared with our administrators or our advanced reporting, which we'll look at in a moment, so that you can better understand where this is working and where those opportunities are for improvement, as well as identify any knowledge gaps that may have come out where somebody expected to find certain information and did not do so, in which case we can then decide if we want to go and cover that gap in some way. So let's take a quick turn here and we can look at this more from a general knowledge management solution. Let's say that I'm an employee at a large company and I'm trying to find some information so I can plan my next vacation, want to take some time off this summer. So I need to know what holidays we have off this year. Again, using our Ask AI, we can pull this up and I can just say, what days do we have off this year? You want to interact with this the same way that you would a colleague. So if I would normally reach out via Slack or Teams or send an email, I can have that same kind of approach here with generative AI and submit this through. Now, we're not just looking for a singular answer here. Hopefully I get more than one day off this year. So we can see that generative AI in this case is able to not only pull forward all of those different options, but also format this in a really nice, clean way to kind of mirror the source text. So now I could take this and once again, take action on it. Maybe I want to copy this answer to my clipboard and include that in an email to my spouse so that we can decide which days do we want to go ahead and leverage here for our summer vacation. All of this is just giving me that simple way to pull that information forward and ensure that I've got accurate and easy to understand answers in front of me. Now, it can get a little bit more complex when we flip over and we look at things from a research and insights perspective. Let's assume that I am a marketer, again, in a large organization. And as part of my job, I oftentimes get these requests that require very quick turnarounds. Maybe my boss just reached out to me, wants me to join a meeting in 10 minutes to discuss vacancy rate trends. Normally, that kind of a request would send me into panic mode where I'd go scrambling, trying to see what I can dig up. Can I find something interesting? Am I going to look like I know what I'm talking about in this meeting? But with generative AI, I can pull up Ask AI. I can simply say, what trends are we seeing in vacancy rates, and provide me as much detail as possible. I really want to make sure I've got some facts in there. When we submit this through, we're going to once again do what we've done in the prior examples, look across the body of work and see what information in here is relevant to pull forward. When we ask a broad question like this, though, we have the opportunity to leverage more than one source. So in this case, it once again gave me information here that I can easily use and gave me great formatting on that. But in this case, we can see that it pulled from 2 different references. We got information about Texas markets, but also information about the US market. And we can see that reflected here really well. I've got a lot of information up here about San Antonio and Houston. We've got information about other areas, and all of that is simply included in this nice, concise response here. But let's say that I wanted to go a little bit further with this. I know that my boss is really interested in the US market right now. We've had a lot of conversations about that. So I want to dig in a little bit further and have something I can build upon beyond just that vacancy rate information. So now I can pull up this particular post that's specifically focused on the US market. And maybe I want to get some talking points out of this document specifically that I can also just have in my back pocket for further things to discuss. Once again, we can use our Ask AI and say, what are 5 topics that I can bring up about the real estate market? But in this case, I can point it to just this single post instead of all of the content that's available. So now we're just narrowing down the scope, asking the AI to only look at this source material to see if it can produce a good response for me. No problem generating 5 quick takeaways here or topics that I can bring up. I'm just a little bit worried that those are kind of light. There's not really enough detail in there for me to sound like I am really engaged in this topic. So I'm going to ask it to go ahead and please summarize each of those. And with this simple fast follow, we'll see that it's going to go back and take those same topics, but now expand upon them. So I have some really good information that I can leverage. And when this pulls back, here we see nice and cleanly formatted, the primary talking point, and then the elaboration or more of the detail there. And again, I'm copying that, I'm appending that to my notes, and I'm adding that to the deck that I'm building, really whatever it is that I need to do in order to ensure that I've got this information and can now very confidently walk into that meeting in 10 minutes and have all that information directly in front of me, even though I sourced it in just a matter of seconds. In each of these scenarios, I'm getting vetted, accurate information that I can immediately apply to my work. It's that actionable piece that I keep bringing up of being able to take something and then run with it. And I think that that's a really important element of what we're bringing forward here, is that ability to connect those dots very, very quickly and allow each of those individuals, regardless of their use case, to go and take that next step. Now, I mentioned the feedback previously, and we saw how some of that pulls forward. So as an administrator, if we want to quickly flash over and look at our advanced reporting, we can see that we're capturing all that information. So I know who is asking certain questions and what their query was. I can see if we returned a response and what that result was, as well as see information about all of the feedback. I personally prefer to export this information and review that in an Excel format or something like that, where I can have different filters and ways to approach it. But what we really wanted to highlight is that all of that is captured and made available to you so that you can better understand where those opportunities lie and ensure that you're delivering as much value as possible to your end users. Now, everything that we looked at so far was about accessing content that was already in there, but let's talk a little bit about how we can make it easier to get that actionable content in the first place. As a content creator, I may have come forward and brought in my guidebook and got all of this ready to publish in a new Bloomfire post. But I know that I want to have some of those summaries and key takeaways and other bits of information here. The challenge is just, it's really time consuming to create that in a thoughtful way, and I have a lot of other activities I need to get to. So here we can bring forward our author assist and let generative AI do the heavy lifting for me. I can pull this open and have a variety of options to create something new based off this document that I've uploaded. Or if I already had something that exists, perhaps I want to make some adjustments, and we'll explore each of these different categories. Let's start first with create and begin with summarizing. Summaries are really helpful, particularly when I have this longer form content, so that when somebody accesses this for the first time, they don't have to read through all of it to truly understand. They can have some of that high level information available that helps them know what they're going to gain should they dig into this. So I have the option for various levels of detail here, really helpful depending on who my target audience is that's going to be consuming this content. For today, I just want something really simple, just a nice high level overview that somebody can access when they first come into this content. So I'll submit this through, and our generative AI is now looking at that source document and pulling out a nice, clean, concise summary that I can leverage. I like that, so we'll go ahead and insert that, and that can kind of be the beginning. But I really like the key takeaways as well. Again, there's a lot of ground to cover in this document, so I want to make sure that we get a good representation of that here. And I have, once again, a variety of numbers of points that we can leverage. We make a suggestion based off the size of this content for 7, but I actually think 5 is the sweet spot for this. So I'll go ahead and use that and submit it. And just like we saw previously, the formatting is going to come through so that I don't have to take even more steps just to get this to look really clean on the page. It will pull out those 5 takeaways. Everything here looks really great, has a good level of detail to it. So I'll go ahead and insert that as well. Now, the other options that exist in here could be things like expanding an insight. Maybe there's a really important conclusion or takeaway from this that I want to make sure people really lean into. I could take that and have our generative AI expand on that in different levels of detail. Or maybe I already have some content that's been created, but it's a little bit long, and I think I want to shorten that down by pre-approved lengths just so that I have something that's a little bit tighter and easier for somebody to consume. Maybe I'm in a field that has a lot of really jargon-heavy content, and I'm trying to produce something now that could be more broadly consumed. So I want to see if I can remove some of that jargon and smooth that out a little bit. Generative AI does a great job of doing that as well, so that this can now be understood by a layperson and they don't have to be an expert in the field. And then even things like tone adjustment, really popular with our customer support clients, where if we may have a message that we need to get out that at times should be more professional and other times more empathetic, we can leverage generative AI to make those decisions for us instead of requiring that end user to try to put on their creative hat and come up with something themselves. So all these options exist, and they're all just geared at trying to arm that individual with the right information so they can create really compelling, actionable content, but do so in very little time. We're not replacing the human element here. Your users will always be the experts in the content, regardless of what it creates or what it's talking about. But being able to really jumpstart this, get those summaries and key takeaways as that starting point is a really powerful way to get that actionable content created. Now, last but not least, on the right-hand side, I have my traditional settings where I can apply additional metadata and make sure all this content is organized in the right way. But ultimately, what I want to do is simply publish this content. It will instantly go live so it can be accessed by others. It's fully indexed, so every word and character inside of it can be searched. And it's already picked up by our generative AI. So should someone start asking questions related to Knowledge Management Guidebook, they're going to be able to get answers sourced directly from this content. Whether I'm using the AI to find answers or to create this meaningful content, we've brought forward functionality that is secure, it's accurate, it's efficient, and it's intuitive. So it can be successfully leveraged by everyone in the organization, not just a pocket of power users. Everything that I just showed you is in our platform today. So if this looked interesting to you, or if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Please feel free to follow up after this webinar. We'll take a deeper dive and see how this can help you out. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Really appreciate the walkthrough there. And now that you have seen Ask AI and Author Assist in practice, I would love to now look ahead to the future of Bloomfire's AI capabilities. Sanjay, we heard from you at the beginning of the session and, the state of knowledge management today. You gave a little bit of insight into where things are going, but would love for you to dig in a little bit deeper and share, where does Bloomfire see generative AI going next? What else do you think is in store that will take knowledge management to the next level for workers and the workforce of the future?
Awesome. Thanks, Emma, and thanks, Bobby. So as I mentioned at the very top of this session, we as a company are incredibly excited about AI because of the impact that it's already having and will continue to have on things like knowledge creation, knowledge search, and ultimately collaboration at work as well. So our vision for the future is going to be anchored in really kind of three key themes. Number one, the next generation of Bloomfire's AI products will not only enable Q&A and summarization, but also complete tasks. Examples of this include running calculations on spreadsheets and conducting trend analysis on very, very broad sets of data. These are the types of capabilities, for example, that are very important for certain customer segments like research and insights teams. The second is we're expanding our integration strategy. This is a new integration plan that will begin with our enterprise search product that is releasing in early July with support for SharePoint, OneDrive, Box, and Google Drive in the future. And in addition to this, we'll also make Bloomfire Knowledge available from more applications like CRM systems, ticketing platforms, and also conversational products we love to use every day like Slack, Microsoft Teams, and even Microsoft Copilot. We're also going to be focusing on deep personalization. This is an initiative that focuses on creating personalized product experiences that truly improve engagement with content. Soon, users of Bloomfire will be able to access content that is customized to their specific role or team within the organization. And at the end of the year, we're also rolling out the Bloomfire application in multiple languages and also introducing the ability to create automatic translations of content. So I want to give you a preview of our upcoming product release, which is Enterprise Search. This product creates a unified search experience across all of your different connected systems within your app stack. This streamlines employee workflows for finding information, but also the administrative process for curating content into your knowledge platform and knowledge program. All of this ultimately helps to minimize context switching between different apps and systems, which we all know can be incredibly time-consuming and incredibly distracting as well. Pairing these enterprise search capabilities with the Ask AI tool that Bobby just showed us will also enable teams to get answers from anywhere your essential documents are stored today. Today, you can connect enterprise search with SharePoint and Microsoft Teams document libraries, and starting in July, we're expanding our connector set to include Google Drive, OneDrive, and Box. Our plan and our strategy is to continue to grow our set of integrations as the year progresses. This is all with the intent of using scalable integrations to empower anyone, from administrators to frontline employees, to be more efficient, to be more effective, and ultimately to be more knowledgeable as well. Thank you. Back to you, Emma.